Security grabbed him by both arms. The bank teller stood behind bulletproof glass, satisfied she'd caught another scammer. The elderly Medal of Honor recipient didn't resist. 2 hours later, every news channel was broadcasting the security footage, and the CEO was on a plane, carrying a debt that could never be repaid. Hey, welcome to Silent Courage Stories. Before we jump into this powerful story about respect, justice, and hidden heroes, drop a comment and tell us what city you're watching from. And hey, if you think stories like this should never be forgotten, hit that subscribe button and help us keep their memory alive. The marble floors of First National Bank of Denver clicked with each tap of Arthur McKenna's cane. 75 years old, slightly stooped but still carrying himself with military bearing. Around his neck, on its distinctive light blue ribbon, hung America's highest military decoration, the Medal of Honor. Wednesday morning, 10 o'clock. The bank buzzed with typical activity. Arthur waited his turn, then approached window 4. The teller, Jennifer Walsh, 28, sharp features and cold eyes, sat behind her protective glass. She scanned Arthur from head to toe. Old jacket, worn pants, trembling hands. "How can I help you?" Her voice professional but distant. Arthur slid his pension check forward. "I'd like to cash this, please." Jennifer took the check, looked at the amount. $5,000. She frowned. Then she noticed the medal around Arthur's neck. "What's that?" She pointed at the medal. "Medal of Honor, ma'am." Jennifer's lips curved in a mocking smile. Medal of Honor. Is that real? "Yes, ma'am. 1968, Khe Sanh." Jennifer laughed, loudly, loud enough to make other customers turn and stare. "Mr. McKenna," she read from the check, "do you know what a Medal of Honor is worth? $40,000 on the black market. You probably stole it." Arthur's face reddened. "Ma'am, I earned this medal. Security!" Jennifer pressed the button. "Suspected fraud." 2 security guards approached quickly, large men in black uniforms. "What's the problem?" the first guard asked. Jennifer tapped the glass. "This man is wearing a fake Medal of Honor. The check is suspicious too, probably a scammer." One guard turned to Arthur. "Sir, would you come with us?" "But I haven't done anything." "Please, sir, don't make this difficult." Arthur didn't resist. At 75, with wounds from Vietnam still aching, he was too tired to fight. The guards grabbed his arms, began leading him to the back room. Bank customers watched. Some had pulled out phones, recording. Jennifer spoke loudly, ensuring everyone heard, "Stolen valor, fake medal, fake check, fake hero." Arthur lowered his head. He hadn't lowered it under enemy fire in Vietnam, but now, in his own country, at a bank window, he was forced to. In the back room, the security chief was about to call police when Arthur spoke quietly. "Please, may I make a phone call?" "Who are you calling?" "My granddaughter. She's a lawyer. They allowed it." Arthur dialed with trembling fingers. "Melissa." "It's Grandpa. I'm at First National Bank. There's a problem." Half an hour later, Melissa McKenna Hayes burst into the bank with documents. Harvard graduate, sharp-eyed, ready to fight unlike her grandfather. "Where's my grandfather?" Security pointed to the back room. Melissa entered, her eyes filled with tears seeing Arthur. The old man sat in a chair, Medal of Honor still around his neck. "How dare you?" Melissa turned to the security chief. "This man received the Medal of Honor from the president." "Ma'am, your teller is ignorant. Here are the documents. DD 214, Medal of Honor certificate, letter from President Johnson." Meanwhile, a customer had uploaded the video to Twitter. Headline: "Bank thinks Medal of Honor veteran is a fraud." The video began going viral. 1,000 views in 10 minutes, 10,000 in 20. 2,000 miles away in New York, First National Bank CEO. Richard Harrison was at lunch. His assistant rushed in, extending a phone. "Sir, urgent, an incident at our Denver branch, video going viral." Richard watched the video, his blood drained. He recognized Arthur McKenna, that medal, that name. Get my jet ready. Now, his assistant was surprised. Sir, I'm going to Denver. Now, I'll explain everything on the way. On the jet, Richard pulled out a photograph, black and white, aged, young soldiers in a Vietnam jungle. This is my father, he told his assistant, Lieutenant James Harrison, died at Khe Sanh in 1968. And this, pointing to Arthur in the photo, is Sergeant Arthur McKenna, the man who tried to save my father. His assistant was silent. Richard continued. The siege of Khe Sanh. My father's squad was ambushed. Arthur McKenna single-handedly saved 12 men under fire. My father died in his arms. His last words were, "Tell my son to find McKenna." I've been looking for him for 40 years, and now our idiot teller has treated him like a criminal. 2 hours later, when Richard Harrison entered the First National Bank Denver branch, the bank manager met him. Mr. Harrison, we weren't expecting... Where's Arthur McKenna? Sir, there's been a misunderstanding. Where? The manager pointed to the back room. Richard ran. Arthur still sat in the same chair, Melissa beside him. When Richard entered and saw the old man, his knees buckled. Sergeant McKenna! Arthur looked up. Yes? Richard fell to his knees before the old man. I'm Richard Harrison, James Harrison's son. Arthur's eyes widened. Jimmy? Jimmy's son? Yes, sir. Richard was crying now. I've been looking for you for 40 years. My father, in your arms. He died. I know, son. I'm sorry. I couldn't save him. No. Richard shook his head. You saved 12 men. Alone. What you did for my father. Richard stood, pulled an envelope from his pocket. My father's letter. He wanted me to give it to you. He wrote it before he died. Arthur opened the envelope with trembling hands. James's handwriting. McKenna, if you're reading this, my son found you. You tried to save me. You didn't succeed, but that's okay. You saved 12 men. You're a hero. I told my son to find you, to thank you. We were brothers in war. We should remain so in peace. Jimmy. Arthur was crying. For the first time, perhaps in 50 years. Richard stood, walked out. He found Jennifer Walsh. She was in the manager's office trying to explain the incident. You! Richard's voice was angry. Jennifer Walsh! Jennifer stood. Mr. Harrison, Quiet! That man, the one you thought was a fraud because he wore the Medal of Honor, tried to save my father's life. He saved 12 American soldiers. And you... Richard took a deep breath. You're fired. Immediately. Pack your things. But, sir, no! It's over! And one more thing. Richard addressed the entire bank. From today, First National Bank will provide special service to every veteran. Every branch will have a veteran representative. And Arthur McKenna is our VIP customer for life. The manager frantically took notes. Richard turned to Arthur. Sir, I don't know how to apologize. Arthur stood, Medal of Honor gleaming on his chest. Don't apologize, son. Your father was a good man. I can see you are too. The two men embraced. Bank customers began applauding. Someone shouted, "Thank you!" Others joined in. As Jennifer Walsh packed her things in tears, Arthur approached her. Young lady, he said gently. Jennifer looked up, eyes red. Everyone makes mistakes. What matters is learning. I'm so sorry. I didn't know. You didn't know because you didn't ask. You judged. Maybe from now on you'll give people a chance. Jennifer nodded. I will. I promise. The next day, the story was on national news. CEO flies 2,000 miles for Medal of Honor veteran. The video was viewed millions of times. First National Bank issued an apology, announced its veteran program. Arthur refused television interviews. I don't want attention. Just respect. Richard Harrison invited Arthur to his home, showed him his father's belongings, photos, letters, medals. I saved these, he said, to give you when I found you. He opened a box. Inside was another Medal of Honor. This was my father's, awarded posthumously. But if he could choose, he'd want you to have it. Arthur shook his head. No, son. That's Jimmy's. And yours. Keep it with pride. Jennifer Walsh? She couldn't find work at first, then began volunteering at veteran organizations. She learned. She changed. A year later, Richard called her. Would you like a second chance? Jennifer was surprised. Sir? We're looking for a veteran relations director. Interested? Jennifer cried. Yes, sir. When they asked Arthur, he approved. Everyone deserves a second chance. First National Bank is now certified veteran-friendly. Every branch has Arthur McKenna's photo. Below it, real heroes walk among us. Arthur still goes to the same bank, but no one questions his Medal of Honor anymore. Everyone knows it's real, it was earned, and it deserves respect. 50 years after Khe Sanh, Arthur McKenna finally found what he was looking for. Not recognition, not fame, just respect. And Richard Harrison? He fulfilled his father's dying wish. He found McKenna. He thanked him. And two families, separated by war, were united in peace. Jennifer keeps a note on her desk now. Every medal has a story. Listen, and the Medal of Honor? Arthur still wears it every day, with pride. 'Cause some medals aren't just metal. They're memory. They're sacrifice. They're the story of a man who saved 12 lives. The transformation at First National Bank became a model for the industry. Other banks requested their training materials. The McKenna Protocol, treating every veteran with dignity until proven otherwise. Richard established the Harrison McKenna Foundation, providing financial literacy and support to veterans. Arthur, despite his age, insisted on participating. These young soldiers, he'd say, they come back to a different kind of war. Bills, bureaucracy, people who don't understand. At the Foundation's first gala, Arthur was the keynote speaker. He stood at the podium, Medal of Honor gleaming under the lights. This medal, he began, his voice steady, represents the best day and worst day of my life. Best because I saved 12 brothers, worst because I lost one. The room was silent. For 50 years I've worn it every day, not for glory, as a reminder that every day above ground is a gift. Every person we meet deserves the respect we'd want for ourselves. He looked directly at Jennifer, who sat at the Foundation's table. A young woman once thought this medal was fake. She was wrong about the medal, but she was right to be cautious. There are fake heroes out there, but there are also real ones. The difference? Real heroes don't need to tell you they're heroes. Their actions speak. The standing ovation lasted 5 minutes. 3 years later, Arthur's health began declining. Richard visited daily. One afternoon, Arthur handed him a worn notebook. "What's this?" Richard asked. "Names," Arthur replied. "Every man in your father's squad, their families. I've kept track all these years." Richard flipped through pages of careful handwriting. Addresses, phone numbers, children's names, grandchildren. "You've been watching over them?" "Someone had to." "Your father would have." Richard discovered Arthur had been secretly helping these families for decades. A loan here, a recommendation there, anonymous Christmas gifts. "Why didn't you tell anyone?" Arthur smiled weakly. "That's not why you do it, son." When Arthur passed, his funeral filled the Denver Cathedral. Veterans from across the country attended. The Secretary of Defense delivered a eulogy. But the most powerful moment came when 12 elderly men, all from James Harrison's squad, stood. "We're alive because of him," one said simply. They buried Arthur with full military honors. His Medal of Honor went to the Smithsonian with a plaque telling his story. Jennifer Walsh, now National Director of Veteran Banking Services, ensures every First National Bank employee knows the story. She keeps Arthur's photo on her desk. "He taught me the weight of judgment," she tells new employees, "and the power of redemption." The bank's Denver branch has a memorial wall now. Arthur's photo at the center, surrounded by pictures of veterans who've been helped by the McKenna protocol. Richard Harrison still runs the bank, but his real passion is the foundation. They've helped thousands of veterans navigate financial challenges. At the latest board meeting, someone suggested scaling back. "We've done enough," they said. Richard stood, walked to the window. Outside, an elderly veteran was entering the bank, walking slowly with a cane. "You know what Arthur told me once?" Richard said. He said, "Enough is when every soldier home from war feels at home in peace." We're not there yet. The program expanded instead. 5 years after Arthur's passing, a young soldier walked into a First National Bank in small-town Kansas. He had PTSD, visible shaking, wore his medals on his jacket. The teller, fresh from training, stood up. "Sir, thank you for your service. How can we help you today?" The soldier broke down crying. It was the first time since returning home that someone had stood for him. The teller's training manual, page 1, has Arthur's photo and a simple instruction. Every medal has a story. Every veteran has a name. Every person deserves respect. And in Denver, at the exact spot where Arthur was grabbed by security, there's now a small plaque. Here stood Arthur McKenna, Medal of Honor recipient, who was dismissed as a fraud but proved that honor isn't just what you wear, it's how you respond. His grace in the face of ignorance changed this institution forever. Jennifer reads it every time she visits, still learning, still growing, still grateful for the second chance from a man who had every right to destroy her, but chose to teach instead.